Hi everyone, I'm Lorraine from Simply English Edinburgh. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is a vocabulary based one on 10 new words which have entered the dictionary in 2021. Of course, there were literally, hundreds to choose from. Language is constantly evolving and adapting based on our needs as a society. The world around us is changing, and of course, we need the language to go with it. As you can imagine, much of the vocabulary was coronavirus related, so I put that to one side. I'm not doing that. And I picked some vocabulary which I think are words that might be relevant in your life, you will be able to use, and if not able to use, you will certainly hear them a lot in the media, in books, literature, etc. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one is cancel culture. It's something that is in the media a lot, and it is defined as the practice of withdrawing support from public figures, celebrities or companies as a way of expressing disapproval and exerting societal pressure. Once this has been completed, the person in question or the company in question is deemed cancelled. Now, this is something which has been seen in a very negative light because it is thought that, the media can just cancel someone by publishing a story about them that society deem unflattering, negative. Then people stop maybe supporting this person, buying their products if they're a company, protesting against them. They get maybe some media hate, shall we say, and once they have lost their brand deals, once they have lost business and custom, they are officially cancelled, and it's very difficult to come back from this situation. So cancel culture is something which is much debated on social media. Many people support it because they think, well, these are people who are making mistakes, big mistakes, doing things that are wrong, and other people think, well, what happened to empathy? Can we not give people a second chance anymore? So yeah, there we go. Very, very topical one, cancel culture. The second one is to body shame as a verb. Now, this means to mock, humiliate, or stigmatize someone on the basis of supposed faults or imperfections in their body shape, size, etc. The noun body shame has also entered the dictionary along with the adjective body shaming. Okay. So yeah, this is obviously again something very negative. There is a lot of work being done on, positive body image, etc. And it is seen as something extremely negative to body shame someone, to sort of stigmatize them or make them feel bad about how they look. And this is another new entry into the dictionary. Another negative one is the noun doomscrolling. Now, this is a really interesting one. It is the obsession with staying up to date with bad news. Of course, it is made up of doom, which is obviously something very negative that is kind of looming in society, and scroll, which is what you would do maybe on your social media platforms, going through the news. This word was originally coined by a journalist called Karen Ho, and it was she was speaking about people doom scrolling Twitter for updates, like how Twitter constantly updates us on what's going on when we have a natural disaster. Or I know I said I wasn't going to mention COVID, but a lot of people wanted to stay up to date with the figures, like how many people had COVID today, how many people were in hospital, and it can just be a really negative cycle of being obsessed with negativity, and it can really bring you down. So doom scrolling, the verb would be to doom scroll. That actually hasn't got into the dictionary, interestingly enough, just the noun doom scrolling. So yeah, another very useful one. And the next one I want to look at is finally something positive. It is allyship. Allyship is the state or condition of being a person who supports the rights of a minority or marginalised group without being a member of this group. themselves. So for instance, I as a cis white woman, if I support causes like Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ plus rights, etc., I am not a member of those particular groups, but if I support them, that is a show of allyship. We also have the nouns like an ally is when you are the person itself who supports, even though you're not a member of the group. And you often hear of people referring to themselves of, I'm an ally, meaning I'm not actually a member of your group, but I support you, I stand with you. So definitely something that is very important in today's society. Another noun, this one is a gig economy, and this describes a labour market which is characterised by short-term contracts, by freelance work, rather than the traditional sort of full-time job, 9 to 5, permanent contract. This is interesting because I first heard this term in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm not sure if you watch it. If you don't, check it out. It is brilliant. It was a conversation between Gina and Amy. Amy wanted to teach Gina how to change a tire, and she said it's really important that you have this life skill. Gina argued that we live in a gig economy and we need to support freelancers. So, you know, if you have minor day-to-day jobs, things that you don't have time for, you're not necessarily interested in doing yourself, farm those jobs out to freelancers because they need support. We live in a gig economy. Do you agree with that? I think it is changing towards a gig economy, and again, positives and negatives, but it is definitely a useful piece of vocabulary for you. Pay gap, also related to work, is the next piece of vocabulary that has entered the dictionary, and the pay gap, of course, refers to the difference in pay between two sectors of society. It's something that has absolutely been in the news of late. I've seen it so much on social media, people comparing, well, if you are in this sector of society, you're earning this much compared to this person, etc. So pay gap is definitely an issue that is coming up in the news, in politics, related to the economy as well. So it's a good one for you to know. Unconscious bias is the next piece of vocabulary I want to look at today. And this is an unfair belief about a group of people that you have, which is not necessarily true. And it is a belief that you are not necessarily aware that you have, which is quite interesting. It's sort of like when you grow up seeing certain images in the media, it makes you think that that is true of society. So, for example, if you grow up watching films in which you see Irish people constantly at the pub, drinking a lot, getting drunk, then perhaps in the back of your mind somewhere you think Irish people are alcoholics, they love drinking, they drink too much. You might not necessarily even know how you formed this belief, but you have it because it's an unconscious bias. There are many courses and programs actually popping up on LinkedIn about unconscious bias because it's a big problem that employers face when they are hiring people that perhaps they have unconscious bias about certain people in society, members of different groups. So yes, a very interesting term. And how about this one, to overshare? I think it's about time this verb entered the dictionary. When people overshare, it means they give you too much information or more information than was necessarily needed in that situation. So usually it involves excessive sharing of personal, private details that maybe you're not necessarily comfortable knowing. We all have that friend on social media who overshares. It's like, yeah, I didn't need to see that while I was having my breakfast. Thank you very much. But there you go. There are a lot of people doing it. Now, the next one I feel particularly strongly about because the type of people who do this action are just the worst. This is negging. It is a noun, and negging is the act of emotionally manipulating someone else, usually by giving underhand compliments that makes somebody undermine their own like self-belief and make them feel down about themselves or question their own ability to do things. Okay, now an example of negging might be someone saying, oh, you're actually really pretty in real life, because like somebody told me that, you know, you didn't look that nice in person, your pictures were better than how you look in reality. So that's a compliment, isn't it? Like, you look better in reality, but you've also got the underhand, oh, because somebody told me. You know, it makes you doubt yourself. Who told you that information? Is that true? Oh my God, are people talking about me? So yes, this is negging. It's emotional manipulation. It is really negative. It is awful. And again, it is something that is a huge red flag in a relationship. So if you've experienced negging, then run away fast. That's my advice from your, you know, YouTube language teacher here. I have no authority to give you advice, but I'm just going to give you that one. Someone is negging you, go. And we're going to finish off today with another noun. It is queerbaiting. Again, has been huge in the news. Again, a really negative practice by companies and by celebrities. This is the practice of implying non-heterosexual relationships or attraction in order to attract an LGBTQ plus audience without actually ever depicting these relationships. So it's just implying that these relationships exist to get the support from this community, but it's not necessarily true because they never depict them. And so yes, some companies will do this by perhaps in an advert showing groups of women dancing together, maybe a little bit provocatively, but the women that are hired to do this are perhaps all straight. They never actually show anything that implies these women are really attracted to each other or in relationships with each other. And so yeah, this is queerbaiting. It's basically like trying to appeal to this audience and take advantage of them, but not actually doing anything to further their rights. Yeah, really negative. Some celebrities have been accused of this. I'm not going to name drop, but you can look it up yourself. Queerbaiting. So I hope you have found today's video interesting. Of course, as I said, there have been hundreds of new entries into the dictionary. If you would like to know more, leave a comment below. And also what I would like to know is the vocabulary which I have covered today. Have you heard any of it before? Have you seen any of it before? Let me know in the comments below. As always, please like, subscribe and share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.